In the great sprawling universe of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry introduced us to the notion of alternate realities and parallel universes early on in the second season of the original series. A simple transporter accident and we saw what could be and what shouldn't be, all summed up in the most perfect goatee in cinematic history. This would not be the last time that, as an audience, we were treated to a what if. One of the most fun things to do in science fiction is to take what is familiar and flip it upside down, playing with expectation and, in honesty, giving the actors something new to do. Thankfully, this is a trope that is not confined to the Mirror universe and beyond. There are many examples throughout the franchise of what-if episodes, shows where the characters are pulled out of what is established and then dropped into a situation that challenges them. It is one of the best ways to keep a science fiction show from going stale. While not every time that this happens is a success, and even some of the stronger arcs would face an amount of fatigue by the time they came to a close, the episodes on this list represent a strong selection of what makes alternate reality episodes enjoyable on Star Trek. With that in mind then, I'm Ellie with Trek Culture, and here are 10 of the best alternate reality episodes of Star Trek. Number 10. Timeless. Good old Harry Kim destroying the ship. Is there nothing this man won't do to stop being an ensign? This marked the 100th episode of Voyager, and it was one for the history books. Voyager almost made it home. All it took was most of the crew's lives and one of the more spectacular scenes in the show as a whole. The crash landing on the ice planet was a thrilling moment, made all the more so by the knowledge that they were all going to end up under the ice. One of the funny things about the episode is that Captain Geordi LaForge is right when he says Harry and Chakotay don't have the right to alter the timeline in the way that they have. They, out of a sense of survivor's guilt, are trying to undo the destruction that their trip home brought to their shipmates. LaForge and the audience may understand their actions entirely, but it doesn't make them right. On a lighter note, Seven's first experience with Synthahol is an absolute riot. Her one and only glass of champagne immediately gets her drunk, leading to her to exclaim to all who can hear her that she and the Doctor are as one. They are as one. While Garrett Wang steals the show for his role as the older Harry Kim, it is a solid, excellent episode of Voyager's 5th season. Number 9. Crossover. This second season episode of Deep Space Nine returns the audience to the Mirror universe first encountered by Kirk, McCoy, Uhura and Scotty all those years ago. In true Deep Space Nine fashion, the universe is a much grittier version this time round. Spock's strive for peace failed, allowing the Terran Empire to be overthrown by the Alliance, a makeup of Cardassians, Bajorans and Klingons. The brutal rule that they impose on the Quadrant has been unchallenged for over 100 years. Well done, Kirk and co. Nana Visitor is on top form as Intendant Kira Nerys, the purely evil ruler of Terok Nor. She oozes from scene to scene, dominating every second while never quite moving over the line of comedic villain. Watching her play against herself is a treat, as the straight-laced Prime Nerys tries to navigate this new dynamic. Things are even worse for Dr. Bashir. As a Terran, he is condemned almost from the moment they encounter the universe. While Major Kira wines and dines with the Intendant, he is forced to work in the ore processing unit under the watchful eye of Odo. He does at least make friends with Miles Smiley O'Brien, helping to awaken the latter's sense of pride again and escape. The episode is a fun excursion into the what-if of this crossover, even as later episodes would keep the tone a little lighter. Number 8. Frame of Mind. Frame of Mind is a highly disturbing episode of the Next Generation's 6th season. From the beginning through to the end, the audience is on the back foot as to what exactly is real, with the twists and turns of the episode coming rapidly, never truly allowing us to rest. The jumping off point is a play that Riker is appearing in, wherein he is playing a man who is losing his mind. This play quickly becomes his waking nightmare as he is transported to a mental prison, held by the Telonians after a mission to interact with them. This was one of the early attempts at discussing mental health in Star Trek, however convoluted the plot. Riker is held in a mental institution and is left to continuously wonder what is real and what isn't. Even the ending of the episode, while all returns to the norm, leaves the viewer with just that little question in their minds as to whether reality really is what it seems to be. Jonathan Frakes is excellent in the episode, serving up Riker's seeming psychosis again and again, slowly depicting the unraveling mind. It is a rough hour to get through, one made even more so by the frequent moments of hope that pop up, only to be dashed again almost as quickly. As far away from comedy as an alternate reality episode could get, Frame of Mind is one of the darkest entries in the Next Generation. Number 7. Through the Looking Glass. This episode serves as several different things at once. It is a sequel to both Mirror Mirror and Crossover while bringing Jennifer Sisko into the show as a character. It also delivers a hardened Rom ready to avenge the death of his brother, and there is a welcome cameo from a mirror version of Tuvok, fresh from his first year on Voyager. The Mirror Universe arc on Deep Space Nine allowed for a bit of character development for these alternate characters. While Kira and Bashir had been the first to visit, Sisko's trip to the other side is a more fun occasion. From Smiley's kidnap to Dax's seduction, Sisko is very much the fish out of water here. While Bashir may not manage to properly convey a gruff and menacing exterior, he really is just a bit too cute, isn't he? The episode is another triumph. The Intendant returns, this time trying to get Professor Jennifer Sisko to develop a means to identify the rebels long before they could fight back. In the grand tradition of what-if scenarios on the show, Sisko's race against time to convince Jennifer to join the rebellion is played alongside the threat of her death, along with the crushing of the Terrans once and for all. Yet the episode moves at a brisk and fun pace, never dipping and continuing the thread of strong mirror episodes. Number 6. Living Witness. Living Witness is an oddity of an episode. It is a very strong hour of Voyager directed by Tim Russ. However, none of the characters as we know them appear in the episode at all. It is instead told from the perspective of a backup copy of the Doctor, featuring recreations and reconstructions of events. Living Witness is both a fun foray into a different version of the crew, while also serving as a somewhat dark lesson on the dangers of rewriting history. When the Doctor awakens 700 years in the future, confined to a museum that has remembered Voyager as a warship, he is horrified to find a society built on mutual fear of his ship. The tension that runs through the episode is not entirely one of simply trying to correct the recorded history, but also serves to highlight the division in society built by a false narrative. In an age where history is constantly being remembered one way and then another, this episode serves a timely reminder that the truth is often held in the eye of the beholder. The cast are all in excellent form, playing the evil versions of themselves, with Kate Mulgrew in particular infusing Janeway with a chilling casual evil. However, it is Bob Picardo who truly gets to shine, lending an urgent humanity in his quest to right the wrongs of history. Number 5. In a Mirror Darkly. To date, this remains the only episode of Star Trek to be set in the Mirror Universe from start to finish, and not feature any of the main recurring characters. This is one of the most fun two-parters in Star Trek's history, while also serving as a surprising sequel to the Tholian Web. The ISS Enterprise is captained by the fearsome Captain Forrest, played by frequent Trek actor Vaughn Armstrong. They become aware of a ship that has been taken by the Tholians, one that turns out to be the USS Defiant NCC-1764, the ship that was taken in the original series The Tholian Web. For the most part, the episode is another in the great tradition of having the crew get to play vile and unpleasant versions of themselves. It also shows the beginnings of the Vulcans' attempts to gain a stronger position of power within the Terran Empire, with both T'Pol and Soval trying to oust several of their oppressors. The episodes are worth watching to see Defiant carving its way through the older technology alone, while the 60s aesthetic is kept for both continuity and hilarity. In recent times, Star Trek has come under a lot of fire for seemingly stepping away from established canon with Discovery. This episode shows that, while fun and beautiful, the 60s sets really do not hold up well compared to the more modern tech. That, however, is not the point of In a Mirror Darkly. The point is for everyone to have as much fun as possible, and they nail it. Number 4. Mirror Mirror. Mirror Mirror saw the birth of the alternate universe that Star Trek has returned to many times in the years following its introduction. Few images are as instantly recognizable as a bearded Spock greeting Kirk and party, arm raised in a salute. Something had gone very wrong. This is an episode where everyone gets something to do. Chekhov and Sulu both get to play dastardly villains, with Takai in particular hamming up the evil in his role to the nines. Nichols gets to level Uhura up to a more powerful character than we had previously seen, as she manages to both flirt with and trick Sulu while on the bridge. While Kirk and McCoy are attempting to work out the situation, the episode undeniably belongs to Leonard Nimoy. While Sulu's scar and Uhura's knife are enduring images from the show, it is that goatee that has stayed on in the public consciousness for over 50 years. The goatee would return as something of a running joke, with Sarek sporting the same facial hair many years later in Star Trek Discovery. It is a fun departure from the norm in the original series that would have far-reaching consequences for the Terran Empire in later years. While Spock would strive for peace in his time, it didn't end all that well for the idealistic Vulcan. Number 3. Shattered Mirror. Once Michael Dorn landed on Deep Space Nine, it was only a matter of time before we saw a mirror version of Worf. The Next Generation had never ventured into the alternate universe, and so we didn't get the chance to see what the other versions of the crew were up to. Thankfully, this is rectified here. Regent Worf is a great addition to the expanding mirror universe. He is the moustache-twirling, pantomime-esque evil ruler that was badly needed. His hatred for the Intendant is matched only by his admiration for her, with his prisoner Garak kept on a chain nearby at all times. Fun family times. The episode also sees the introduction of the Mirror Universe Defiant, leading to a spectacular ship-to-ship battle between it and the Regent's Negvar-class cruiser, one that dwarfs the Terran vessel. Another Sisko episode, this episode also sees Jake travel over into the Mirror Universe, ostensibly to spend time with the Mirror Jennifer, although this is a ploy to get his father to come over. While there is a lot of fun to be had throughout the adventure, it ends with sadness as Jennifer is murdered by the Intendant in front of Jake's eyes, ensuring that both father and son have had to watch Jennifer Sisko die. This is one of the stronger Mirror Universe episodes, one that as of now the Star Trek universe has yet to top. Number 2. Year of Hell. Say what you will about shows that hit the reset button at the end of a particularly difficult story, but Voyager's Year of Hell was one of the best storylines in the entire 7-year run. With constantly approaching enemies, the crew battle to keep the ship flying while it crumbles around them. We are treated to shots of exactly how much damage the ship can take and continue to fly, with entire decks exploding and barely any functioning shields to keep them safe. While there was little doubt about it, Kate Mulgrew solidifies Janeway's place at the table of greatest starship captains here. Ironically, a quote from another franchise installment sums up her character here. Paraphrased, it says that humans are wonderful creatures when everything is working, but break them down and put their lives at risk for an extended period of time, they can become more vicious than the most bloodthirsty Klingon. Janeway becomes fanatical about saving everyone, a trait she has shown and would show again in the future. But here she is overcome by the job of surviving, slowly blocking off all of those around her. She sustains injuries so severe that the Doctor finally relieves her of command, which she ignores. There was hope that the Krenim storyline could continue over a season, and while this wasn't to be, this 2-part episode delivers some of the finest efforts by any of Voyager's cast and crew. Number 1. Yesterday's Enterprise. Yesterday's Enterprise has long been considered one of the essential episodes of Star Trek. Featuring not just the introduction of Enterprise C, it also provides Tasha Yar with an ending befitting of her character, a trick that would be later used in Star Trek Picard to help give Data his final send-off. There is simply so much about the episode that works. A hardened Picard must lead his ship in wartime, dealing with the sudden appearance of their predecessors while also staying battle-ready. Gone are the relationships that are so common to the Next Generation. He and Riker are on much less civil terms, while the crew are soldiers rather than explorers. There is still a sense of wonder on show, wrapped up in there but for the grace of God. The Enterprise C should not be in their time, yet to send them back is to send them to their deaths. It is a moral quandary that the crew do not have time to dwell on. The Klingons are on their way. It remains one of the strongest episodes of The Next Generation. An excellent example of solid writing, acting, and direction all around. And that concludes our list. If you can think of any other episodes, then do let us know in the comments below. And while you're there, don't forget to like and subscribe and tap that notification bell. We are on the road to 200,000 followers here on YouTube, and with your help, we can meet that goal by the summer. Just don't forget to tap that subscribe button. Also, head over to Twitter and follow us there, and I can be found across various social medias just by searching Ellie Littlechild. I've been Ellie with Trek Culture. I hope you have a wonderful day, and remember to boldly go where no one has gone before.